Hey there. Hi, it's Linda, and it is Monday night. Ooh, I better do this quick. My battery's a little bit low. So I wanted to come on. I had a visit with my friend this afternoon, and we were talking politics and energies. Politics are a reflection of the collective, period. You know, you can say you're spiritual and you don't want to get involved in politics. Politics are a reflection of what's going on with us. So I understand not wanting to get involved, and everyone's doing their part on the planet in varying ways to hold the energies stable for the changes that are unfolding rather quickly. It's amazing how quickly, I don't know whether you can sense the energies are just moving along lickety split. And there's so much going on that it's overwhelming for many people. Lots of like, oh, really? No, that didn't happen. Couldn't have. He did what? They did what? And so today was another one of those days. It's not unusual at all. But I sat with a friend for a visit. She's got a condo with a beautiful ocean view, and the seagulls were flying at about the same height as the condo was. Not that she's on a high floor, but it's just the way it's situated and kind of goes down into a ravine and with trees in the ocean. So it's quite pretty. And we talked about politics and kids and grandkids and all the good stuff. She's been a friend for a long while, and one of those she was an elementary school teacher, and one of those kind-hearted, very supportive, loving friends. She's always there for us. So that was my lovely afternoon. And she was happy, to have a conversation about politics and energies and kind of the spiritual side of it, because it's not often that you get to do that with people that you know. So, but here I am on this platform doing the same thing. So today, the national security in the States and Pete Hegseth and a whole bunch of them. This national security, Pete Hegseth, who's the Secretary of Defense. I can't think. There were like 8 of them on a chat, texting on an app. I can't remember the app's name, but texting on an app. Not a secure app, not typically what you would do, texting about the attack in Yemen. And included in that chat, a journalist from the Atlantic, whatever, newspaper. So he was like, he thought maybe he was being pranked, that this wasn't really happening. But then he realized that it was happening. It wasn't a prank when he started to see. So he got enough information to clarify that it was actually true. He knew 2 hours before they dropped the attacked Yemen, this place in Yemen. He knew 2 hours before. And he's not sharing any of the information beyond that, and a few texts that were, it was like looking at young men doing paintball stuff, like that kind of bravado. It was like, it's ludicrous if you ask me. So and so they're saying, well, no. Some are saying, yes, it happened. Pete Hegseth saying, no, that guy lies, yada, yada, yada. And so it goes. Our elections in Canada have been called for April 28th. And so it begins in Canada too, with a lot of stuff going on. We don't currently have a Liberal candidate in our neighborhood, and I was talking about that with my friends, and he said, well, maybe they'll helicopter someone in. So I went looking to see, and they won't be. It doesn't look like they're helicoptering anyone in. And the one woman they were trying to get, there was so much pushback for Christy Clark. She said, no, I'm not going to be running. And so it looks like a local businessman who's been the mayor, not the mayor, been on council in the town of White Rock, is considering being a Liberal candidate. So I'm like, yay, I will get behind him. He's got a floral business as well. He's been very active in the community, and in the surrounding areas. Very, very active in a good way. So I will just keep going. So I'm going to pull 3 cards because I want to keep this kind of sharp because my battery life is going down. I haven't plugged it in very much today. So 3 cards. So first card, tune out the distractions, and I will go more into these. Next card, 2, 3. Okay, got some reoccurring themes here, but of course. So the first card is tune out distractions, which makes a whole pile of sense because there's a lot of distractions going on right now. So you've got a snake around a closed-in vase with water, and someone's on that water with a boat. And there's a peace stub, which I like that. There's a peace stub. And the snake is the distraction. So you're safe, someone's safe within that bubble there, and the peace stub's there, and the snake is the distraction. That's what I'm getting from this card. So to tune out the distractions and focus in on what is important to you and your life and your community. So for me, what is important? What is important that I support a Liberal candidate in my community, period. What is important that I support Carney as being PM, period. And in whatever way I can do that in social media, by fact-checking, by correcting misinformation, by reposting, screenshotting tweets, and then checking Polivier, I can't say his name properly. And now I'm calling him by his real name and not a short form derivative that's not very kind, because I want to give enough weight to this. I don't want people to have their backs up. I just want about facts here. So I'm tuning out the distractions. I'm tuning out the nonsense. And I'm looking at factual information. That's me. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this. And as my friend said, when you do this and you provide examples, she said, that's good. I remember those examples. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. So do what you do best in these situations. It's a time of great change, and that's without a doubt. And that's what I feel. It's just ratcheting up. And April's going to be, I think, full of surprises. And lots of readers are saying the same thing. Astrology's saying the same thing. It's so much will be happening and unfolding. There'll be big surprises. So the next card is refine your attention. So with this, I'm hearing, don't fall for the okey doke. That's an old Southern saying, I think. I heard Don Lemon's CNN say it once. His grandmother would say that. Don't fall for the okey doke. Don't fall for the noise. Don't fall for the shit. Don't fall for the BS that's out there. Use your spidey senses. Use your intuition, your spidey senses. It can be a gut check. If it feels heavy, it's a lie. There's a lie within the truth. So there can be a piece of truth, and then it's surrounded with this big crap pile of misinformation, and that's to distract. That's to tune out the distractions. It's like they're wanting to muddy up the waters to distract you from what is actually going on, to distract you from what is true, to distract. So for instance, being reminded, is that Carney is lowering the income tax rate for the lowest income, so that's below 57,000 a year. I think that's, I don't know whether that's per household or per person, by 1%. Pierre Poilievre says he's reducing it by 15%. So Carney, in fact, is telling the truth. He's reducing it 1% down. Poilievre is doing a sleight of hand. So that 15% is actually 2.25%, I believe. Now you have to, so Carney's plan will cost $10 billion, and Poilievre's plan will cost $23 billion. Carney is an economist, so Carney will have a plan for that, to include that. Poilievre is not an economist, and he has said before he will not assure that he won't touch dental care, pharmacare, $10 a day child care, that he won't raise the retirement for CPP to 70. Like, you've got, the money's got to come from somewhere, right? And so he's given no assurances for that. During the pandemic, he said he wasn't in the government wasn't in the business of giving the money out. And yet the way that Trudeau did it ensured that Canada came through the pandemic relatively easy. And did some people get money that shouldn't have got it? You bet they did. But there wasn't time to, there wasn't any time to do anything but just kind of blanket it across. And now they've been pulling back. And so lots of different government employees have been hired because of that, because they had to get those checks out and they had, all that kind of stuff. It's, that's just the way of it. But consequently, we didn't have huge lineups at the food bank. And I think I've talked about that before. So Canada came through really pretty good financially. Perfect? No, not perfect. Is our debt bigger than they wanted? It is, but it's not. They planned on what they had. And the overage was because they had to pay out a lawsuit to the Indigenous people. So that was the only overage. They was pretty much on track for what they said they'd be over. Most of that debt was from the pandemic. So you gotta put it all into context, and think about it as your household income, during the pandemic, right? Did you have to use a line of credit because you weren't getting enough income in? Did you take a line of credit out in your house to pay for stuff because you were out of job for a while, or whatever money you got from the government wasn't enough to cover your expenses? I mean, you got to think of it like that, but it's just on a much, much bigger scale. So you think about things critically, and then and then feel what feels true. Who feels like they're being truthful with you, even though it's awkward, even though they might stumble over their words or not quite get it right. Don't fall for the okey doke. Poilievre is the okey doke. He does a press conference and he talks about a little munchkin in the playground asks his dad about income tax. What's income tax, Daddy? No little kid in the playground is asking their dad about income tax. I can promise you that. And I'm sure you know that. True. Right? Exactly. Don't fall for the okey doke. He does these little stories as if, and people lap it up and they laugh and that's Trump stuff. That's what Trump did. It's a playbook. And he's thinking that the population is that, I was going to say naive. I want to say stupid. That's what he's doing. He's pulling the wool over your eyes. So refine your attention and see things clearly for what they are. Don't do a knee-jerk response because you've always voted conservative. Don't do a knee-jerk response just because. These are not times that our country is literally under attack with tariffs, and with promise of wanting to destroy our country economically because Trump wants to. I know it just seems crazy, right? Seems absolutely crazy. But when you hear things said over and over and over again, then you gotta pay attention. What's going on? You think, oh, he's just joking, he can't mean it. He says it over and over and over again. This man means it. And so who's going to put our country in the best possible position? Who has contacts, international contacts? Who has relationships internationally with different world leaders? It's not Poilievre. It's Carney. It's Carney. He has the experience for that. Okay. Have faith. This was the card before. So it is important to have faith. Because as I said, faith is what grounds the energies to be able to unfold in a way that's best for us. So yes, it looks shitty. I'm sorry, it does. There's no two ways about it. It looks shitty. But that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And I think of it like any big change. It is not fun. It always looks messy. It always looks messy. But then suddenly it's done. I don't know whether anyone can remember Ireland when it was the North and South, the Protestants against the Catholics, and then it was done. It went on for a very long time. The fall of the Berlin Wall, done, right? Like, there's so many instances where it was done. Now, even in terms of rights down the states, we're done. And now they're trying to backtrack on that. So have faith that it's done. There's no backtracking. I'm going to try and push back the hands of time, but you can't do that. It never works. It never, ever works. It's always, the hands of time are always moving forward, and whatever you're doing in this moment in time is impacting the planet, is impacting your community, it's impacting the collective, impacting how all these energies are anchoring into the planet. So you have faith that these are good energies that are trying to help us. They're bringing up the shit. They're bringing up all that crap for us to see. It's like, look at this. This is what's going on. Can't close our eyes to it anymore. It's time to really look at it and then go, is this who we want to be as human beings on this planet? Is this what you want? And if you don't want that, then your thought pattern has to change, how you talk to your family, how you interact in your community, who you advocate for. All of that has to reflect that you want change where everyone is included in this grand, this beautiful grand scheme of life. That no one's excluded. Everyone has a shot, there's a level playing field, because not everyone's going to want the same thing. Some people want more, and some are quite happy with less. That's just the way of it. We're not saying everyone should have all of this, because not everyone has the same desires. That would be pretty damn boring. But right now, there should be a level playing field in terms of education, in terms of housing, in terms of kids being fed, healthcare, all of that. And then there's differences. So decide what is important, what your values are, and do you want that for others? There's a big important question. You know what you want for you. You know what you want for your family. Are you going to advocate that for others? Or are you're just going to be, you're on your own, sorry. You're on your own. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe in uplifting everyone. So the tide will rise everyone up. So I'm going to stop now. My battery's almost dead. So tune out the distractions. Refine your attention. Please pay attention to that. Refine where your attention lands and have faith. You got this. You got it, you got it, you got it. Promise you, you got it. If you're listening to this, you got it. So take care of yourselves, nurture yourself in whatever way is just going to fill you up so you're smiling as you're going about your day, so that you're able to have patience with the cashier at the grocery store, or with your husband, or with your children, or even your dog. Yeah, because we get impatient sometimes. Get impatient in traffic. We're all just humans figuring this out. Sometimes, some days we're just muddling along. But most of the days, we can change that. So you can change that. It's entirely up to you. I have faith that you got this. So, Linda out. Enjoy your evening, your day, whenever you see this. Take care, and we'll do this again another time. Bye.